any learner who wants to get beyond just basic conversation, you really have to grasp three fundamentally distinct uses for this one verb,
We're talking about a journey from, what, a B2 level chance discovery?
all the way up to C2 level rhetorical evaluation. It's a huge range, all packed into the same two words.
So our mission in this deep dive is to give you the ultimate shortcut. We've gone through a huge stack of source material, analyzing everything from tenses to conditionals, even usage frequency.
Right, for each of the three meanings.
By the end of this, you will know exactly when come across means you found something, when it means you made an impression, and when it means your message actually landed.
It's an entire grammatical deep clean for just one very versatile phrasal verb.
So let's begin with the simplest and I think the most common identity.
Let's do it.
Meaning number one, finding by chance.
This is the usage you probably encounter every single day, the essence of spontaneous discovery.
It sits squarely at the B2 level, and the sources classify it as very common.
And simply put, it means stumbling upon something or even someone without actively looking for it. It's the verb form of serendipity, really.
This has to be the most narrative-driven meaning, you know? We see it all the time in the past simple when someone's telling a story about a surprise find.
Oh, absolutely. I came across a rare coin in my grandfather's drawer yesterday.
Exactly, that instantaneous, pure discovery.
And then in the present simple, it's more about habits of accidental discovery. For instance, I often come across interesting articles while browsing the internet.
Right, it's an ongoing possibility. And the present perfect is for accumulated finds over time. Something like, I have come across his name several times in this report.
And I still don't know who he is.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, what I found interesting was that the sources flagged some nuances around time, specifically with the continuous tenses for this meaning.
Yes, exactly. This is a great point. While you can use the present continuous for an activity that leads to an immediate find like, she is coming across some old photos while cleaning, the sources make a very sharp distinction about predictive tenses.
You mean like the future perfect continuous?
That's the one. It describes an action that will have been happening continuously up to a future point.
So why doesn't come across work with that construction in this B2 sense?
It just fails. Because discovery is a moment. It's a ping. It's instantaneous. You can't be continuously having a moment of discovery over a period. Ah, I see. You can be continuously searching.
Exactly, but not continuously finding. So saying, by December, they will have been coming across new data just sounds unnatural.
So what's the alternative?
The simple future perfect works much better. By this time next week, I will have come across most of the sources I need. It focuses on the result.
That distinction is so critical. It's about the result of the search, not the continuous act of the discovery itself. But we can still use this meaning in more complex grammar, right?
Oh, absolutely. The third conditional is a fantastic showcase for it.
Give me an example.
If I had taken the other path, I might have come across the waterfall. It connects an action that didn't happen to a chance discovery that was missed.
And we use standard modals for probability or advice. You can come across useful information if you search carefully.
Or a deduction. They must have come across the wrong data based on this conclusion.
Yeah.
So even at B2, it's grammatically very robust.
Okay, so now we leave behind that external, accidental discovery.
And we moved into something completely different. Internal, intentional projection.
Segment 2, where we shift gears. This is meaning to, giving a particular impression.
And this is a significant jump in sophistication. We're at the C1 level now, and it's labeled common.
This feels crucial for any kind of social or professional context. It's all about your persona and how other people perceive you.
It is. And the key grammatical signal here is that it almost always requires the preposition as.
Right. Come across as something. It's that gap between your intent and how you're received.
Yeah.
We talk about it almost always in terms of how someone appears.
And often we're contrasting that appearance with the reality.
What's the classic example?
The quintessential one is, he often comes across as arrogant, but he's actually very kind. That one sentence just captures the entire tension of this meaning.
We're judging a projected behavior, not an actual find.
Exactly. And for performance reviews, we use the past simple. She came across as very confident during the presentation.
And what's fascinating here is that the continuous tense, which was so tricky for the first meaning, becomes perfectly natural for this one.
It does, because impressions are being formed and updated in real time. If you're watching an interview, you can say, she is coming across as nervous right now.
Because you're describing the immediate, ongoing projection of her current state.
That's it. And it's highly context dependent.
Mm.
A candidate who is coming across as unprepared can potentially reverse that later in the same conversation.
So the impression isn't necessarily permanent?
Not if it's in the continuous tense. But if we use the simple past, he came across as rude. Well, that impression feels a bit more finalized, doesn't it?
It does. Now, because this meaning is so tied to advice and social strategy, I'd imagine we see a lot of modals and conditionals.
A huge amount. Think of it as social engineering advice. We use modals for warnings. You can come across as unfriendly if you don't smile.
Or for possibility. He could come across as arrogant without meaning to.
And the second conditional is perfect for suggesting hypothetical improvements. If you were more relaxed, he would come across as friendlier.
It's the language for optimizing your projected self.
And the gerund form is common when we're talking about skills. Coming across as confident is crucial in public speaking.
So we've gone from finding objects to projecting a persona. Our third and final meaning takes us even higher.
Even more abstract.
It focuses not on the person, but purely on the message they're trying to send. Let's jump to segment 3, meaning 3, expressing an idea clearly.
Welcome to the C2 level. This is labeled quite common, and it's all about evaluating the quality of communication.
So writing, film, art, a speech?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The central question here is, was the message successfully and clearly received by the audience?
This is the language of critics and editors. It's all about conveyance. For written communication, you'd ask, did the idea get through?
Right. His message always comes across clearly in his writing. Or for media, the emotional tone has come across well in the third act.
And the past simple to confirm it worked. His frustration came across in his tone, despite him trying to hide it.
The difference between C1 and C2 here is so important.
How so?
Well, C1 is about how you look. C2 is about what you send. If you come across as nervous, which is C1.
Your message might not come across clearly, which is C2.
Exactly. They are related, but they are distinct failures of communication.
What's really notable about this C2 meaning is how much it depends on adverbs. Modifiers like clearly, well, strongly, poorly.
You have to qualify how it came across. And modals are essential for refining that message.
For example,
We use could for potential misinterpretation. Your sarcasm could come across as anger, or should for optimization. The purpose should come across more clearly with examples.
and for writers, the first conditional is a direct path to success. If you revise this paragraph, your objective will come across better.
And of course, sometimes it just fails. The main idea didn't come across at all in the final scene. It's a breakdown in clarity.
Okay, so we've covered the whole landscape. Finding at B2, impressing at C1, and communicating at C2. These feel like 3 totally different verbs.
They do.
So what's the fundamental grammatical rule that connects all 3 of them?
This is the critical insight. Despite the vast differences in context and sophistication, all 3 uses of come across share a singular foundational grammatical identity.
And what is that?
Come across is, in every single one of these meanings, an intransitive phrasal verb.
That is the ultimate aha moment for any learner, because that one fact immediately dictates a massive restriction on how you can use it.
It does.
So what's the critical implication of it being intransitive?
Come across cannot be used in the passive voice for any of the 3 meanings.
Here.
Ever.
Okay, I have to challenge this because this is such a common learner mistake. If I found a rare coin, my instinct is to put the object first to emphasize it. I'd want to say the rare kind was come across by me.
That temptation is completely natural.
So why is it so jarring and just wrong?
Because an intransitive verb, by definition, doesn't take a direct object that receives the action. In a passive sentence, you take the object and you make it the subject.
But come across doesn't have an object to promote.
Exactly. The finding happens to you. The impression happens to the audience. The clarity happens to the message. There's no grammatical element to move to the front.
So it's an ungrammatical dead end. I can never say the idea was come across clearly or she was come across as confident.
Never. You must always use the active voice. That single rule will save you from countless errors across all 3 levels. Let's recap. We started with the B2 usage, finding by chance. That's spontaneous discovery, very common in storytelling.
Then we went up to the C1 level, giving an impression. That's all about how you project a certain persona, and it usually needs that little word as.
And finally, we reached the C2 meaning, expressing an idea clearly, where the focus is purely on whether your message or your emotion was successfully received.
And the unifying rule across all 3.
It is intransitive, meaning the passive voice is permanently locked away.
That is the key takeaway. So the next time you come across in an article or in some feedback at work, just stop for a second.
Be a detective of context. Are they talking about a spontaneous find, evaluating a personality, or are they grading the clarity of a message?
Knowing those three levels changes how you interpret everything. It transforms those two simple words into this powerful tool for analysis.
The context is everything.
We really encourage you to start testing this knowledge. Just pay attention today. How often do people evaluate an impression versus the clarity of an idea?
The language they use is identical, but the intent is worlds apart.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the triple identity of a single powerful phrasal verb.